This video is available on videogcsc.com. Question 15 part B. Find the value of 8 to the power of negative 2/3. Okay, I've pasted this question over so we can go through it. Using your index laws, you should know that some number to the power of a negative is the same as that number 1 over that number. So if this was simply 8 to the power of negative 1, then it would be 1 over 8. This is 8 to the power of negative 2/3, so there's three things altogether we need to do here. We need to take account of the negative, we need to take account of the 2, and we need to take account of the over 3 here. So right away I know that 8 to the power of negative 2/3 is the same, well, it equals 1 over 8 to the power of 2/3. So I know that right away. So 8 to the power of negative 2/3 equals 1 over 8 to the power of 2/3. Okay, the second thing that I can do is to because this is, if there was no over 3, then this would simply be 1 over 8 squared. Okay, so if you like, I can do that next to simplify that. So I can say that 1 over 8 to the power of 2/3 equals 1 over 8 times 8, so 8 squared, that's 64. This here, 8 squared, 8 times 8, 64, to the power of, and now I've taken care of that too, so it's simply to the power of 1 over 3. Okay, and so I have 1 over 64 to the power of 1/3. As we saw in part A, a number to the power of 1/2 is the square root of that number. The second root of that number is another way of saying it. And 64 to the power of 1/3, or any number to the power of 1/3, is the cube root of that number. So, or the third root it's also called. That means that we need to find a number for a square root. We need to find a number that multiplies by itself to give that number. So we did 6 times 6 equals 36 in part A. The square root of 36 was 6, because 6 times 6 equals 36. This time we need to find a number that multiplies by itself 3 times and gives 64. So, and we're not allowed to use a calculator for this. We can use a bit of trial and improvement. It wouldn't take long. You could do 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, 3 times 3, and so on. Let's see, I'm going to, 3 times 3 times 3, that's 27. So then we try 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4 is 64. So the cube root of 64 is going to be 4. Unlike the first part of this question, we can't also put down negative 4, because negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4 would give us negative 64. Because there are 3 negatives there, not 2. It's not a negative times a negative giving a positive. It's a negative times a negative times a negative. Yep, so 64 to the power of 1/3, or excuse me, 1 over 64 to the power of 1/3 equals 1 over the cube root of 64, which we said was 4. Can't be negative 4. So our final answer is 1 over 4, 1/4. Let's see if I did this properly. Hopefully I did. 15 part B, yes, the answer is 1 over 4. If you got 1 over 4, give yourself 2 marks. and if you got let's see, if you got part way there, 8 to the third, then you can give yourself 1 mark. Or if you wrote down 8 to the power of a third somewhere equals 2, or 1 over 8 to the 2/3, or 4 to the -1, or 64 to the power of minus a third, or 2 squared, or 4, or 1 over 2 squared, or 2 to the -2, then give yourself 1 mark. It was quite easy to get 1 mark in this question. A1, full marks for a quarter, or 0.25, or any equivalent vulgar fraction or decimal. So any equivalent fraction or decimal to 1/4 would give you the marks, like 2/8. Thank you for watching this video, brought to you by videogcse.com.